Good morning. Good morning. Welcome into the Livable Forest. If it's your first time here, my name is Tiffany Parker. I am the owner of the Livable Forest, Houston's #1 social media platform. Okay, so before we get started on how to verify an event producer, I have a couple of announcements. First, let's talk about the upcoming event season for the Livable Forest. Our next major event is Boo Fest, the Woodlands Boo Fest. This is our second annual Boo Fest with them. I have added some really great vendor deals for all my markets this year. So, for example, if you were to go and purchase the Woodlands Boo Fest, you will have the option to add another market in the Kingwood area for $75. So that actually makes it to where your budget stretches a bit. Also, if you were to go and book a market in Kingwood and you want to do Boo Fest, you will get Boo Fest for $150 if you book an event in Kingwood as well. So there are great deals within the platform built in already. There's no codes, there's no anything. You just add the events you want to participate in before you go to check out. So that's exciting. Another thing is I have reopened my affiliate program where everybody can participate. There is no membership fee or anything. You can just sign up. The only thing, you have to sign up for an account on the Livable Forest. To sign up for the Livable Forest, have an account, it's completely free. You sign up, you will go to the menu bar and you will under Partner Perks program and click on affiliate program. Once you click on that, you will fill out the form to become an affiliate, and boom, you'll be let into your actual dashboard. Your link will be very visible. You'll be able to see it at the top of the page. When you do copy that link, you can add that to your website, add that to your social media or whatever, because anybody who purchases anything through your personal link, you receive $10 for every transaction that happens. So that's exciting. It's a great way, especially if you're doing vendor markets in the city of Houston or just with us, or you know people. You can give them your personal link to sign up and you will receive the $10 credit for everything that they do through that link. I do cash out every Friday at 6 p.m. I haven't really looked into the cash out options, but I believe I'm going to do Zelle, Cash App, and PayPal. But you will know, and it'll be set in stone as soon as this video is uploaded, and you'll see the options available. But that's the update. I hope you guys take advantage of that. This is my gift to you guys for being such amazing people, amazing vendors, being such an amazing community. And by the way, you do not have to be a vendor to participate. You do not. You could just be somebody who goes to vendor markets or as a guest to, indulge in the vendors. You could be somebody who's just a community member, just somebody out in the community in the city of Houston, in Kingwood area, or wherever you are in the greater Houston area, and you really want to let people know about the Livable Forest. This is your opportunity to get them into the community, online community, and also make a little extra on the side. I also highly encourage all business owners to create an account on here and absolutely utilize all the benefits and services. You can create your own business pages, you can do all the things, and I really highly recommend people, if you have a business, to post about your business as often as you like. This community is built for the greater Houston area, for you guys to flourish, for you guys don't have to fight for it to be seen in the Houston area on bigger platforms. There is no algorithm. It's a perfect environment for growth. So anyways, let's get into how to verify an event producer. I am an event producer. An event producer is somebody who puts on events. They are your event host, okay? 9 times out of 10, in the context that I'm speaking of, they predominantly own the event company. So I have an event company well, I have a company that does events, that hosts events. The Livable Forest, we also host vendor markets. Vendor markets is a place where people of all types of businesses come together and they sell their goods or services. So the first thing we're going to do is research their background. We're going to check their website and we're going to check their social media activity. Not that they have a page, their activity on the page. So what that means is if you are looking at an event producer, say you're looking into me, you want to know what has the Livable Forest, what has Tiffany Parker done to make me want to even consider doing anything with her, any business with her. So what you would do is go to the Livable Forest on Facebook. You will go and look and see at all the past events. If I posted any pictures, any videos, look at the comment sections of everything I've ever done. Look at the type of content I'm posting, because you have to understand, a lot of people don't want to support people who don't align with their beliefs and values. So you can see what I post. I host a social media platform for the city of Houston. So I post a lot of things about what's going on, any news that has happened, like anything that's happened major in the city, what's happened major locally. I post a lot of that stuff. It's not predominantly about just the business, it's about the city. So I post a lot of content about that. I also post a lot of video content coaching vendors on how to be the best vendor they can be, and I coach event producers on how to be the best event producer they can be. So you'll see a lot of content about that, a lot of business content. But anyways, that is what you're looking for. You're looking at what type of content they post, because it matters. It really does matter, because if they're posting things that are very controversial, starts arguments, rage bait content, race bait content, all that type of stuff, you may want to reconsider. Because people will align you with that belief system as well, you know? So then also what you should do is go look at their personal profile, because people post different things on their personal profile. So on my profile, my personal profile, Miss Parker to you can look on Facebook or Instagram. You'll see a lot of motherhood content, a lot of homemaking content. I post a lot of things like tips and tricks on making life easier for women, a lot of relationship content, things like that. I don't really post a lot of political stuff. I really try my best to stay away from that type of stuff, or religious content. Not to say that I'm not religious, but I am a Christian. So I do obviously mention God and give him a credit for a lot of things, pretty much everything I do. But you want to look at their personal profile and you want to look at their business profile and see if this is something you want to be attached to as a business owner. So if they align with your values, if you see that they're posting content that is really good for the community and in your eyes, and you like them and other people like them, then maybe it will be somebody you would like to connect yourself with socially as well too. The next thing also look at their website as well. See how well organized their website is, how easy it is to navigate, how is the checkout process, how is it that you're getting your vendor application in. I highly recommend that you don't I don't like paper applications. I feel like it's a lot of unnecessary extra work and time and paper when everything can literally be done online. So all my application is not really an application, because I don't turn vendors away. I don't have a stipulation in place where there's only one baker allowed or one Scentsy person allowed. I give everybody the opportunity to participate in the market. I don't turn people away just because I have another vendor that does something similar, because you have to remember, just because they're in the same industry doesn't mean they're doing the same thing and it's the same business. Okay, so you look at their website to see how easily the navigation is, how it's basically the organization. Okay, then you look for past events, photos and videos. We talked about that. You want to see what type of vendors they've had. You want to go and look at the videos, and the videos can give you an idea of what the crowd looks like. you have to be very careful, because some event producers, they'll only show clip photos and videos of a particular part of their market where the traffic is the highest, and it's deceptive to the vendor because they're thinking that it's a crowded event and it's not. What I normally do at my markets is I go live. I'll go live at my markets, whether it's a small market or a big market, it doesn't matter. The vendors who want to vend with you deserve to know the big picture. So I will go live and I will take video of all the booths. I will take, if I have a lot of time on my hands, I'll go to every single booth, show you what they have to offer. Yes, I'll walk through the crowded areas, but I'll also show other parks, a part of the park, because for example, my Sweethearts Market wasn't huge, wasn't packed out, but we had a really, really good flow, because just because it's small doesn't mean it ain't mighty, okay? So you're gonna search the business name in Google and see what the reviews are. Whether the reviews are all really good, or there might be some questionable reviews or bad reviews. Don't write people off, because you have to understand customers and vendors and just people in general. Sometimes if they don't get their way with something, they'll go put out a bad review. The best way to actually see if somebody is worth what they're talking about is to show up to their events. Show up to their events, talk to the vendors that are there at the moment. That's the best way to get reviews, in my opinion. Google's great. I'm not gonna say Google's not great. Yelp is okay, but the best way for vendor markets and for vendors to get the tea on an event producer, how he or she runs it, how the markets are, is to go to the events that this person is hosting and just talk to the vendors. I don't get offended about stuff like that. I know a lot of event producers, some will get irritated when other event producers even show up at their markets and ask the vendors questions about this market, about the event producer. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't care if event producers come to my market and try to get vendors to book. That doesn't bother me. Matter of fact, that's great, because all these vendors here are looking for the next best market. So if you got it, come pass out your cards. It does not bother me at all. Some event producers have a very limited belief system when it comes to making money, when it comes to growing their business. They got personal issues, and they look at that as you trying to steal from them. But you don't own vendors. You don't own them. Unless you have a contract saying they cannot vend anywhere else besides your market, you should not really care. Like, your purpose of hosting vendor markets, well, at least my purpose is to help the business community grow. So I always encourage people to find, I even help vendors find other markets when I'm not having markets. Like, but yeah, that's the best way to get reviews, is just to go ask the vendors themselves directly. So then we're going to read vendor reviews and testimonials. I said that. Also, another great way to get good reviews is go and post in the vendor groups about an event producer. Ask the question. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to know the Livable Forest vendor markets. Not everybody's going to know every market, but the least you can do is go to the Kingwood groups if you're in Kingwood, because that's where I host a lot of pretty much all my markets except for the Woodlands one. Go and ask the community. I encourage it. Not only does that help you, that also helps me. That helps me know where I stand within my community as far as hosting family-friendly events, okay? Will there be some negativity? I don't know. It doesn't necessarily bother me, because the work speaks for itself. But I do encourage you to go and ask the community. Just go ask. It's so good to ask. Not just the vendors who do it, because some vendors, they love the market, but you should hear feedback from the people who actually come to the markets. They bring their families to shop and stuff. They'll tell you how the flow goes. They'll tell you if they like the entertainment. They're gonna tell you if they like the vendors. Some people even tell you what vendors they like. They'll tell you how they feel about me as an event producer. They'll tell you everything. And I think it's healthy for that to be talked about. I really do. I think it's healthy. I think it's good for the vendor, it's good for the community, and it's good for the event producer. So everybody can see where everybody stands. Therefore, if something isn't up to par, all you gotta do is correct it. That's literally it. That's all you gotta do is correct it. Also check on event logistics and their details. Is there a clear event plan, day of event? So that means for example, when I'm hosting markets, for Kingwood, I used to just always have like an open market, meaning like there you just go pick your spot. But I found over time, for planning purposes, for just overall purposes, it's easier just to have booth spaces and assign people to a spot. There's no confusion. There's no unnecessary, like, people aren't scattered all over the place. The flow of the event looks better, feels better to the customer. So I say, see if they have clear event logistics. When you go to their page, you see how they deliver it, because I deliver mine two different ways. One, if you need to have an account, because I post in our vendor group on the Livable Forest, the event logistics, I do a video with it, I send it out into the newsletter, and I even post it on the Facebook pages, okay? On my Facebook page, business page. Nobody should not know what's going on. The vendor logistic literally includes the map with all the vendors, with the numbers next to the vendor, so it corresponds with the number on the map. It tells you setup time, breakdown time, if there's performances, who is performing on what time. It's the rundown of the day of event. It should be organized in that way. There should be multiple ways for people to get this information. It shouldn't just be one way. I don't believe in emailing people individually. That's why I have a newsletter. So you sign up for the newsletter, you're gonna get it. You're in the vendor group, you're gonna get it. You follow my event page, my business page, you're gonna get the information. You're gonna also check out where they're hosting markets as well, because location matters. I don't care what anybody says, location matters. If it's an indoor event, the location for sure matters, because I find that it's harder to get people to come into a market they can't see. They only read about it and they hear about it, but they can't see when they're driving by. So, you got to see how the traffic is flowing, how well that event producer has marketed and advertised that event, so you can get good traffic. And especially if it's indoor, how long they have been doing it as well. Setup time, we talked about that. The date, you also want to make sure this event producer is hosting markets on dates that make sense. So for me, actually all of my events are hosted on a Saturday in between 12 and 5. That's 12 because I know what I'm doing on Saturdays on a regular basis when I'm not doing markets. I wake up, I'm at 10 o'clock, okay? Or if I'm up early, I'm with my family, I'm pedaling around, I might run some errands. 12 o'clock, I'm actually ready to go. I can go out and I can shop. And if I'm going to a market, it's at a good time. It's in the middle of the day. There's not probably too much going on. And I can go shop for an hour or two and go on with my day. It lasts till 5, because the reason why it lasts till 5 is because by that time, especially in our community, it's a lot of people go to church out here. So I keep that in the back of my head. Okay, church starts as early as 8 o'clock in the morning at a lot of these places, at a lot of the worship centers out here. So 5 o'clock is the cutoff time. That gets people out the market. Vendors can get out at a decent time, packed up. We're all at home by 7:30, 8 o'clock. We're getting ready for service in the morning. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I know my community. We have a lot of worship centers out here. It's heavily religious, and so I respect the fact that people aren't going to stay out till 8 o'clock at night for a market. They might, but in this community, I highly doubt it, because we go to service in the morning, and that means if we're waking up at 6 o'clock to be at service by 8 o'clock, service doesn't get out at a lot of churches till like 8 to 10, 8 to 9. Then you have Bible study. So we're not out of church until pretty much 12:30, 1 o'clock, okay? And then we go and eat dinner, or a early dinner or a late lunch with our family and the church members and stuff like that. And then by that time, we're ready to go to get ready for work. So you got to look at the timing. You got to look at the dates. Fridays are great dates only if it's in a particular location. that works. And you have to understand the timing of Friday matters, because people are still, don't host a market in the middle of the day on Friday because everybody's at work and school. Don't host a market starting at 5 o'clock because people are still stuck in traffic. If you're going to do a Friday market, I would host it starting at 6:30, 7 o'clock, and let it go till 10, because people are out, they're mingling, they want to get out. That's how I would do it. So look at that. Traffic expectations, look at what is going to bring people to this particular venue. Look at so like in Town Center, I love it because we have restaurants out there. We have residential surrounding the park. Is a beautiful park at that. There's benches for people to sit. It's just a really nice and beautiful, quaint little park surrounded by retail and residential. So it works out great. As far as traffic flow goes, it's consistent. It's normally consistent, especially on the weekends. Another thing is that you also look at how the event producer is marketing it. So for me, how I market my events, if I'm hosting an event in Kingwood, I'm in all the Kingwood groups I can get into, and I post the events in there. If I can, I do paid marketing on social media. I'm also looking into working with Kingwood Moms and a couple of other nice publications out here that are community centric. So you got to see how the event producer is getting the word out about the market. If you live in the Kingwood area and you start seeing the vendor markets for what I do, the ones I host, pop up in these different smaller publications, it's because I'm paying for that. So I can get the word out. Have I done that in the past? No. And is it absolutely necessary? No. I just want more traffic. I want more awareness for my vendors, so it can be very beneficial for them. All right, another thing you need to do is verify their business legitimacy. You look up the business registration, how they take payment, ask about insurance. Venue requires insurance no matter what. I don't care what venue you go to, they have insurance. Is that something that you need to really care about? No, not necessarily. It really doesn't. But know that most event producers, when they're hosting an event at any location, they should have event insurance. They should have insurance. I know Kingwood Town Center requires it. The Woodlands Township requires it. Literally everywhere. Anything you host that's owned by the city of Houston has it. Now, if it's private property, such as say you're hosting in somebody's parking lot, that center management may not require it. Should they require it? Yes, because damage could happen unintentionally, and who's going to pay for it? Okay, so understand how they take payment. I used to think credit card was the only legitimate way. Now I take credit card, Cash App. Right now I take credit card and Cash App. I take Zelle. I don't mind taking Zelle. Have I taken cash? Yes. Do I like taking cash? No. And if I have to take cash from somebody because they just refuse to do the other ways of taking it, they would have to actually put it in an envelope, take it to Painted Tree, address it to me for what it is that they're paying for, and leave it there. And Painted Tree right here in Kingwood will call me and let me know that it's there. But you're not set in stone until cash is in hand. I do not take checks. I take cashier's checks, and I will take a money order made out with the details. I don't have those details on there because I technically don't like doing cashiers. I don't care about that. I think it's easier to do online payments, but that's something that vendor and I will talk about either in person or over the phone or via email. But that's not how I normally take payment. But you should look at how the event producer takes payment, because if they're telling you they only take Cash App, I'd wonder why. That means they don't have a real system in place. In my opinion, that's just my opinion, don't come for me, Facebook, but in my opinion, you should be able to take multiple forms of payment through your website. Okay, contact past vendors. You could contact past vendors. The way I told you earlier in the video is a great way. Actually, you can also, because I don't post my vendor my vendor list all the time, like who's coming, but I actually think I'm going to start doing that because I actually feel like it's highly beneficial, not just for the business, but also for the community so they can get excited. The reason why I didn't do it all the time is because every time, you won't believe how fast vendors book. So say I do update the vendor list within the event group, by the time I could do it in the morning, by the time the afternoon comes, there's 30 more names to add. So what I have decided to do was once a week on Mondays, I will post who's booked over the last over the weekend or over the last couple of days. In between Tuesday and Sunday, I actually really like posting pictures of the vendor's product, tagging them, putting a little blurb. Is it a little extra work? Yes, but I feel like it's super beneficial to the vendor and to the community and to the business overall, because now we're advertising for them as well too. So yeah, you could call their business and see, hey, how's it going? Was your experience at the market? And that's how you can get legitimate reviews, because they're going to tell you, they're not really put on the spot. They don't have me looking at them. They don't have social media looking at them. It's just you calling them to ask, what their experience was. Okay. Check for red flags, last minute location changes, or vague details. So if I tell you that we're hosting we're hosting an event at a particular location, and I tell you 2 days before the venue change, that's a red flag, because why did the venue change 2 days before? Why? Normally, if there's anything going on with the venue, the event is either rescheduled or canceled, not a venue change. And that's really bad, because if you've been advertising this particular location and then you change it 2 days later, you're probably not going to get the same foot traffic, like the turnout that you want. So look for that. Look for vague details in the description. Like if you're trying to figure out, okay, great, they're hosting an event, so what's happening at the event? If they say vendor market, the date, time, whatever, they don't tell you if there's any if there's any attractions, if there's any, like, nothing, like there's nothing. You should probably look at that too. No contact or vendor agreement. If they don't have a vendor agreement, I really believe it's like a fly-by-night. Okay, meaning like a cash grab person who's just doing this so they can make them, like, do a cash injection into their life, and they're gonna bounce. No vendor contact, meaning like they don't talk to you unless you're paying the money or it's the day of market. And sometimes some of these event producers don't even show up to the day of market. They don't even have a person in their place. Okay, so look for that. That's why before you go to a market, it's best to check everything that we've talked about so far. It's also best to go to the venue and go to one of their markets, okay? Or ask another vendor who has been doing markets with them for a minute. Over promising results. I hate when event producers do this. Stop over promising foot traffic. Stop doing it. Just don't do it. If they ask, a vendor wants to know foot traffic for 2 reasons. One, they need to know how much inventory they need to prepare. 3 reasons. How much they need to prepare for this, if they can even prepare for this. Because if you're a market, if you tell these people, yeah, there's gonna be thousands of people, some vendors are like, I have a couple of hundred of my stuff. I don't have enough to supply a market that has thousands coming to it. They also want to know, is it going to be worth their time and money? That's it. If you can't tell them, like, this is what I tell them. I tell vendors, hey, they ask, well, what was it like last year? I send them videos and pictures, or I direct them to where the videos and pictures are. I tell them, if you look at, I go based off of what it says on Facebook. If Facebook says that there's 5,000 people interested in going, that is exactly what I tell them. I don't sit up there and tell people, yeah, I promise that we're going to have all these people come out. I don't promise anything. I don't promise that you're going to make money. I don't promise that anybody's going to actually show up. I don't promise anything, because it's all a variable. It depends on weather. It depends on what's going on. Like, there's a lot that goes on, okay? The economy, it depends on a lot. You can't just sit up here and make promises because you want them to pay for a spot. Don't do it, because what happens is, if you do that, and you promise them something and you overpromise on stuff of all these attractions and all this crap, what's going to happen is when they get there and that's not what happens, then now you have put a bad taste in their mouth. They're going to be teed off. They're going to go talk about you. They're going to do all types of stuff. Don't do it. Okay? Ask these questions. How long have you been running vendor markets? That's an important question, because if somebody tells you, oh, this is my first one, I don't want to say completely write them off, but I would look at, okay, this is your first one. That's when you have to go back and start looking at social media, start looking at if they're involved in the community in any aspect. Just start looking into them before you sign up, because I'm going to say this because I've hosted my first event and it was just me, my mom, and like 3 other vendors that took a chance, and we had a decent turnout. So I'm not going to say that just because it's their first event that you shouldn't go. You should just go and look at everything else that I talked about. If they don't have any event pictures, they don't have anything, look at how they're marketing, look to see what they're involved in and things like that, okay? And look at the pricing. What is the expected turnout? We talked about that. You direct them to your past events if you have any, but if you don't have any past events, the best thing you could tell a vendor is be upfront. Tell them, this is my first one. I'm not sure. I know that other people have hosted in this area and this is what it's looked like for them. I'm hoping for the best. This is how I'm booked. This is how I'm advertising and marketing and stuff like that. So, but it's good to be, as an event producer, to be 100% transparent, because I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna get every vendor, and it's okay. Don't have a scarcity mindset. Don't have limiting beliefs, because it's don't take anything personal. It's not about you. You gotta understand that a lot of vendors, this ain't their only gig, baby. They have full-time jobs, they have families, they got bills, they have responsibilities. They're not thinking about you like that. They want to know the facts, and that's it. They don't want to know all the extras. They want to know what they ask, and tell them, be transparent. You don't have to lie to them. You don't need to juice it up. You don't need to do any of that. Just tell them, okay? How do you promote the event to ensure foot traffic? Tell them what you're doing. I post on Facebook. I coach my vendors on how to promote my markets. I tell them I'm paying for this, or I'm doing this, or whatever you're doing. Let them know. Let them know. Because most of the vendors will probably be watching for that type of stuff. They'll watch your pages. They're going to watch your personal page. If you tell them that you're going to be advertising in this publication, they're going to look for that. Okay. So just don't overpromise stuff. Don't do any of that. Just tell them what you're doing. Do it within your means and your budget, and move on, okay? And what is your refund and cancellation policy? You gotta have something, okay? So mine is, I don't have a refund. My refund policy is more so of, you get a credit, and how it looks for me is, all my vendors have an account on the Livable Forest. I credit their account. If they can't make an event, I normally don't credit because they can't make it. But say if I cancel an event and it's because of weather and I do it and I cancel it, I will go into their account and I will give them $100 or whatever the event was pricing to go. And when they go check out for another event, it doesn't charge them. It automatically credits the money to check out, and then they go on with their day. Super easy, super streamlined, doesn't require a whole lot of different changes. It doesn't even require anything on their part. Matter of fact, if I cancel an event, even if people do show up for it because they didn't get the memo, I still go into their account and I will credit, and they get notified that they got a credit. Also, a great benefit with vending with the Livable Forest, I know, shameless plug, but vending with us, you get 5% cash back every time you book a market, and it automatically goes to your digital wallet on the platform, and you can use that money toward booking an event, anything in the store, literally anything that I'm selling. You could use your cash back and your credits or whatever on the Livable Forest platform. So it's a great little benefit, okay? But anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoy your beautiful day. It's beautiful. It's cool outside. Beautiful. Go take a walk on your lunch break. Yeah, enjoy. Have a good one. Bye.